Tsapel, thank you so much for giving me your time with that exquisite relationship that you have as a Buddhist nun between solitude and silence, and how the two things can create growth. I really thought that it would be great if we could just plug into some of your wisdom. And you said to me, it's a great time for reflection. It isn't a passive experience that you will naturally grow if you're on your own just because you're reflecting. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
When you go into solitary retreat, the days are really very full with a particular focus of training the mind. Meditating, introspection into how's my mind going and how's my mind thinking. You're less focused on me in the world and more me part of everything. It's not just about you. You're praying for the health of the world and the health of the beings in the world. So it's a little bit different from lockdown.
Yes.
But I think lockdown can still teach us stuff. It's very valuable. At first, it's actually quite alarming, very different and very extreme. There's sort of obviously some benefits for health, but also people found many other benefits just naturally. Scientists had been predicting a virus like this for some time. They were quite worried and did notify the different governments, some time ago. However, as a society, unless something's really pressing and urgent, we don't really notice to do the preparation. The knowledge was there, but we don't really use it until the threat is upon us. When it does hit, we then begin to listen and respect and seek the opinions of scientists, which is very helpful. But I think from their point of view, they'd wish that we had
listened earlier.
If you get it, then there's a lot of anxiety about how sick you'll get or how you will recover, or whether there's enough hospital beds or materials for it. And then also there's the mental anxiety, even if you don't get it, about, will you get it, or will your relative get it, or how sick will they get, or what will happen to your children. So there's a lot of mental anguish, as well as the COVID itself is a physical thing. So I think as a person who works and respects the mind and the field of training the mind from a Buddhist perspective, with a very deep respect for science. It's not only when we have a coronavirus that we have serious levels of anxiety or serious levels of, depression or worry. There are very powerful yogis and practitioners who over time has been able to really reduce and even uproot that suffering level. That knowledge is there, but not so much in our Western culture.
Although we haven't got the training and the discipline that allows us to harness the power of the mind over mood and well-being, what we are seeing is a deterioration as a result of the fear of the virus.
So, some time ago, science decided not to include introspection in terms of scientific method because it was so hard to validate internal experience. If we're really going to deal with mental fear and anxiety and anger and attachment and greed and those things, there is knowledge there about how to counter those individual negative emotions and over time even uproot them completely.
There is a joy that's rising in the middle of this. So they're putting exhibitions online and they've got conversations about art, and I see people being more creative. How do you feel about what will happen next?
It's a very interesting phenomenon. I think we've been a very fortunate generation, and I know there's upheavals in different countries, so it's different in different places of the world, but for us to have a very major world-affecting problem like this, not having lived through war or famine or ethnic cleansing, but this COVID-19 is sort of making us really understand a natural truth in the world, but we can never be complacent. It's sort of the bit of a wake-up call. Let's be more realistic about our lives and not sort of wreck the planet and make money, think we're okay, and so it doesn't matter. COVID-19 can have some incredible beneficial effects for us to really consider what is going on for our fellow human beings. Can we be more creative about preserving our environment? Because we've got one place to live. We're learning something and we're actually a little less busy, and there's some good sides to this isolation. There's some real problems too, and people are getting sick and people are dying. There's some very real problems. It's a chance to actually consider the greater good and maybe change some of the things that we're not doing very well.
And let it not be for nothing.
Yeah, so that it's not for nothing. And just by not doing so much and not flying so many places, we've actually, the air's a lot cleaner.
It's a hard thing, is being disconnected from people that you feel connected with, and we are finding ways of keeping those connections going.
There's some beauty in being able to talk one-on-one, which often can be a different type of conversation
I
when
agree.
you meet with families together, or there's sort of lots of things going on. And I think families have found this too, that they're actually getting some different time with individual members of the family.
You're right. It's not in the thing or in the moment itself that the lesson sits. It's in the study of the consequences of the thing.
We all sort of wish for a better world, but maybe all of us are coming up with more creative ideas. We're sort of finding how resourceful all of us are.
It's like stepping right out of the box that limits you. Thank you so much.
Mm.
I found that quite inspiring and beautiful.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much.